Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty blog, and welcome to this week's Pick 5. Now this week, guys, I want to talk about something here on Pick 5 that we've never actually talked about before, which is kind of funny because it's sort of where real estate all begins, on the ground level, if you will. And that is the price of land. How much is land worth and how much is land going for in this market? Now, of course, it depends on where the land is. It depends on how big the land is. But if we're looking specifically for land value, I want to look today at 5 properties that are basically land value. They may or may not have a house on them, but I want to look at what they're worth. And then we're going to look at what people are building on similar lots. Fantastic. Work backwards and see what we think this land is worth. The reason I had the idea for this today is because there's a house in Chaplin Estates that last week sold for $850,000 above the list price. Take a look. Here it is. It's this one with the tree. And, it looks to you like a beautiful, solid red brick house, which it is, built in 1925. Let me just get that in the picture there. There we go. Believe it or not, guys, this is essentially land value. So, yes, somebody might go in there and renovate this, but the reality is the smart money is to tear it right down and build new. Reason being, of course, if you're going to build in 2017, why not have all 2017 features? Do you really want floor joists from 1925? Do you want wiring that's been spliced together 30 different times over the years? And of course, if you were to buy this lot and knock down the house, you can bring the house out, build further onto the side. You can go to committee of adjustments. You can get a much bigger house, et cetera, et cetera. This was listed at $1,950,000. The same lot last year sold for $1,900,000. And this sold for $2.8 million. You know what? I'm sure there was somebody right behind it at 2.75. So this week, guys, we're going to look at 5 properties that are essentially land value, prices right across the board. So I'm going to start here, guys, today with 242A Gledhill Avenue. Now we're starting very low. We're going to go right up into the millions for land value. So where is 242A Gledhill, you might ask? So it's over here in East York, or at least when I was growing up, this whole thing was called East York, in the Woodbine-Lumsden area. So how much is this worth for land value? And why don't we go, we'll zoom right in. I want to show you the house because there's no photo. How do I do this? I drop this little man here. Nailed it! I know, I'm like getting really old. Okay, so you can see here, this is what they look like. Oops, there we go. Oh no, I'm really showing off how bad I am with technology. I'm only 36, that's sad. So here we go, little house like this. Yes, it's totally livable, but when you go down the street, are we getting this? There we go. Where you go down the street, this is a perfect comp. Right here. This is exactly what you're doing. You're building houses like this on those lots, 242A, and I would guess 242B. Now, what are those houses going to cost? So rather than looking at the sale prices of these, okay, and there's really not much to see here, guys. It's kind of a lackluster Pick 5, and well, not in informational sense, but in terms of the visual effect, because there's really nothing to look at here. This is a blank listing. Nice condo alternative or knock down and build new. Those aren't really options that go hand in hand. If you're looking for a condo alternative, $599,000 house, or build new, you're like, yeah, cool. I'll just pull on that $1 million that I don't have. This home shows well, but is being sold in as is, where is condition. I just find that so funny because it's like, it looks great, but it's not. Fantastic location, only minutes to the Danforth and subway if you have a Prada jetpack. So what is the comp? I'm going to take a look here at, and I'm looking today just at properties for sale, 241 Westlake. So this is a 25 by 100, okay? And the one we're looking at is a 20 by 130, 126. So obviously the width is far more important than the depth. The depth, you can add more house at the back, but I think there's a huge, huge difference here between the 20 and the 25 for what it's worth. This is 589. Again, your guess is as good as mine in this market, what it's going to sell for. They are holding back offers. I'm not really concerned today with what someone pays for it. It's what do you get out of it. So if you were to build this exact house, right, and let's say that this thing is 1,800 square feet at $200 a square foot, and you'll say, well, it costs a lot more, but look, you're on Westlake. This is not Forest Hill. 200 a square foot times 1,800 above grade, you're $360,000 to build. Now, that's if you're a builder, okay? If you're an end user, you're probably going to spend $450,000. So then you're saying to yourself, subtract it from the $1,358,000. At what price do you have to get this to make sense? Well, it depends. If you're an end user, does it really matter? If you break even, you get to pay to essentially build your dream home. If you're looking to flip it, good luck with that. These things always cost far more than you would think. It makes sense for the developer. You pay $7 for this, right? 700, you add in your 450, you're at $1,150,000, and the out is $1,358,000. There's $200,000 worth of margin. So land transfer tax, real estate fees, legal fees. Are you going to make $150,000? Is it worth it to do it? So guys, I'm not so much trying to teach you today about how to build a house and make money, but rather how do we actually value the land? And as I said from the beginning, this is a 25-foot lot. We're comparing that up against a 20, so not maybe the best comparison. Okay, let's move along here. There wasn't much to see there. I want to take you out to Bloor West. This is a very, very, very cool area that I think is not getting a ton of love. I featured it last year in my pick 5. So here it is, 47 Charleston is the house. This is in Eatonville. I did a pick 5 last year in this area, and I've taken a couple people out here. No one's really jumped on it. Actually, I did sell a house on Acorn, and I was very close with a buyer for a house on Shaver. Didn't pull the trigger, but there's so much value out here. It's just crazy. And one of my clients who bought out here not too long ago, you know, you look at the house you get for $1.3 million. What would that cost if you were, you know, in North Toronto? It's like a $4 million house, so or maybe 3.5. So what are things going for now? 47 Charleston. Go to the listing. This is a massive 50-foot lot, 50 by 147. And take a look at this. Great opportunity. Take notice. First-time buyers, retirees, renovators, contractors, and builders. Whew, that's a mouthful. All those people. So if I'm a first-time buyer, okay, I'm the complete opposite of a retiree, I would think. Renovators, contractors, builders. Well, that's pretty much all the same thing. High demand location, coveted neighborhood, premium lot, blah, blah, blah. This 3-bedroom bungalow is neighbored by custom luxury $1 million homes. So that's exactly what I'm telling you. So the comparable guys, or I guess there's a couple of them. So take a look at this map here. And then we're looking basically, so there you go. This is a classic example. One a little bit further north and one a little bit further east. You've got 2.2 million, and it's a 47 by 160. And then you've got 2.3 million, and it's a 60 by 134. So this is bigger. Definitely 10 foot bigger, but it's further north. So here you've got something slightly smaller, 3 feet's not going to kill you, but at $2.2 million, oh, where did I go? There we go, $2.2 million, you're 900 here. So again, you go back to the calculator. You say, okay, I'm going to build, what's my lot? 50 by 147, right? Times 0.6. So I could build 4,400 square feet if I wanted to. So let's say that you build 4,000 square feet at 200 a square is $800,000. So you buy this for 9, you build for 8, you're in for 1.7. The comp is selling for what, 2.2? Is that where we were here? Yeah, 2.2. Now 40 days on the market, maybe you can get this for 2.1. So again, back to the first example I used on Gledhill. The way that we look at the value of the land is not as though we're building the house for ourselves, but we're kind of working backwards and saying, if a done house on this lot is worth 2.1 and it costs you X to build it, how much, all things considered equal with no profit, is the land worth? And keep in mind, a lot of people who buy and build, the profit they make is the future appreciation of doing so. So if you say, if I magically waved a wand and today, poof, I was all in for 2.1, the idea is that 18 months from now, it's worth 2.3, and that's where you get your margin. So this thing right here at $899, I don't know, I think it's going to go for well over $1 million. And you might say, well, that doesn't make sense. If I'm buying this for 1.1, I'm spending 8, I'm in for 1.9, and my land transfer tax, and if I were to sell at my real estate fees, I'm not quite at the 2.1, no. But that is how we value land in Toronto, is essentially saying there is no profit to be made. So take what your out is at your 2.1, then subtract what it's going to cost to build, and that's what the land value is worth. So in this case, it's worth probably over $1 million, maybe 1.1. Okay, wow. Now we're up to $1.3 million, and we're down to a 35-foot lot. $1.3 million for a 35-foot lot by 120? Yes, check this out. Upper Forest Hill Village, prime building lot, on the market for the first time since 1970. Surrounded by multi-million-dollar homes. They're all saying that. We don't need to be told that. 599 Castlefield, where is this? Here we are. Okay, so for some people, this is a little bit further, there we go, a little bit further west than you want to be. So, you know, we work off the subway line. Obviously, young. Everyone wants to be young. If you can't be, well, Avenue's a great stretch of retail. And then you get over to Bathurst and things get a little bit cheaper. So that's why this is only 1.3. Because honest to God, if this thing was on the other side there, a lot more money. So the comp, where's the listing here? I ask it like I'm an old senile person. So here we go. The bungalow, no photo. I want to show you the actual house itself. Oh, did I do it right? Yeah, there we go. Okay. You know what? I can't find it, guys. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This is what it's like. This is what it's like being 80 years old, except I'm 36. I just learned today about how to drop that little man on there. And I'm looking, and I give up. I'm going to show you the comp instead. Okay, 599 Castlefield, 1.3. So we'll take a look at the comp. And it's basically something like this. So now this is a 50 by 110. But if you look at 681 Briar Hill, it's on the other side of Bathurst. It's west of Bathurst. So what I'm basically doing here, guys, is I'm saying, okay, we've got a 35 by 120. And here we've got a 50 by 110. So again, frontage is king. The extra 15 feet deep doesn't necessarily matter. But this is west. It's in the same basic pocket, Briar Hill and Castlefield. It's in the same sort of north-south, but this is on the west side of Bathurst. So take away some money for being on the west side of Bathurst, but then on the comp, take away some money for obviously being a 35-foot lot. They're asking $3.5 million. So what could you get for a new build on this lot? I think you could get something comparable. I think you can get maybe probably somewhere around 3.2, 3.3. I know it's only a 35-foot lot, but again, if our, oops, where are we here? There we go. If our comp on a 50-foot lot west of Bathurst, not nearly as attractive, is going for 3.5, I think we could argue you're about 3.2, 3.3. So then you go back to the land itself. What's this thing worth? I mean, holy cow. I mean, there is going to be a lot of people looking at this thing. 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, that's getting up there. But again, it depends on if you're a user and you're building your dream home, fine. If you're a renovator, a contractor, renovator, handyman, right? And a builder, basically, and you're looking to flip, you've obviously got a ceiling as far as you can go. But, I mean, that's what we came into this talking about, guys, is what is the land value worth? And so you're looking at 3.2, 3.3. You're subtracting, you know, $1 million to build. You're in there somewhere around 2. So I think this could easily go for 1.6. Okay, we're flying here today, absolutely flying. And that is because this is, as I said, there's not a lot visually to look at. We're just kind of talking shop. So 458 Glengarry. So here's another one. This is a bungalow. I'm going to show you the photos of this, guys, because this is actually renovated. And it kind of sucks because if you're going to buy something for simply land value, why would you want it to be renovated? So I don't understand. Maybe this was renovated by somebody that said, we'll live in it for a little while, we'll make it serviceable, and then we'll sell it down the line to a developer. But it's a 48-foot frontage, only 106 deep. I'm going to show you where it is here. So now we're in a bit of a different area. Well, I shouldn't say that different. Before we were sort of down there on Castlefield. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. Okay, so we're down here by Castlefield. So you might not think this is that different, but look, you're in Lawrence Park now, or because this is further over to Bathurst, it's not exactly Lawrence Park, but still a 48-foot lot. So what do we think this is going to go for? Listed $1,388,000. It's a much bigger lot, 13 feet wider than the one we just saw. But what are the properties going for in this area? And so I'm going to show you, this is Douglas. Let me go back to the map. Sorry for all the back and forth. But these are really good comps. This is Glengarry and a 48, and this is Douglas right above. Now these on Douglas, so this is a 40, and it's 3.7 million. I hate this style, by the way. But 40 by 106. We were a 48 by 106. So here's the other one, guys. Another 40-footer. This I don't like at all, that super modern style. 7 bathrooms. Wow. When you really got to go. And here we're just south of 4 million. So again, wow. What are we going to say that this thing is worth? Oh my God. Okay. Just for fun. Just for fun. We'll take this. How many square feet is it? 3,200. It says 3,200. And here you're probably 325 a square foot. So that's $1,040,000. I'm going to add 100,000 for soft costs. You're in 1.14. Now it's not worth 3.8. It's probably worth 3.6 minus 1.1. boy, this thing could go nuts. This thing could go nuts. Is someone going to pay $1.6 million for this thing? $1.8 million for this thing? I mean, when are we going to start to see $2 million pieces of land up here? And as I said with Colin, we've already seen it. So again, guys, how you're going to look at what these things are worth is working backwards. And so if you do want to use, you know, this one here and say, well, if I build this for $1 million, and maybe I was light on that, 3,200 at 325 a square, you tell me. But you've got to add in the rainy day fund, let's say. You've got to add in the soft costs. You've got to add in the land transfer tax and the legal fees and the permits, etc. When all that's said and done, I mean, I think it's going to cost you probably 1.8 to build this thing. And that would probably put the value of this land closer to $2 million. All right, let's move on here, guys. One more. 217 Hanna Rd. Now, this is neat because this is a 46.5-foot lot in Leaside, where 35-foot lots are the bigger lots. So 46.5 feet, 217 Hanna, where are we? We're really close to Eglinton, and that's what makes this one unique, I think. We're 2 houses in, and I think it's a bit of an irregular lot. But you might say, well, that's great, I'm near the new LRT, but I would also say you're really close to a really busy street. So looking at the 46-foot lot listed at $1.5 million and comparing to our good friend Colin that sold for 2.8, what do we think the out is for this? And I'm going to show you here 2 houses in Leaside. Now this is a 30-footer and it's not in a great spot. Well, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. You're in like East Leaside. It's $2.6 million and it's on a 30-foot lot. Then you look at Lee Crest and this is sub 40, but it's $3 million. So what could you get for a brand new build on this lot? On a 46.5, very close to Eglinton, albeit, I think you're probably $3 million. And so from there, you work backwards. I think you're probably 1.2 to build this house. Keep in mind the lot's only 102 feet. You're not getting as much coverage. But 1.2, let's say you're in for 1.2, it's worth 3. That means the lot is probably worth 1.8. What is this thing going to sell for? A lot more than that. And that's kind of the moral of the story of a lot of these here, guys, today, is that the lots are selling for more than probably, I don't want to say intrinsic value, because how do you measure that? But this is going to sell to somebody that wants to build a house. And me personally, I thought I wanted to build a house. I have no desire to build a house because basically I have work and I have wife and baby, and that takes up all the time. So now you add in, God, I need a third hand. Wouldn't it be cool if one popped up right now? Now you add in building house. It's either less time with wife and baby, which I don't really want, or it's less work, which I also don't want because that means I make less money and it costs me more to build the house, and because selling real estate is a drug. And I love drugs. Can we edit that out? I'm just kidding. So my point is, I don't necessarily want to build a house, but some people have the idea of the dream house and they want to. And if somebody, let's say, has friends on this street, or your kids are going to attend Leaside High School, because guess what? You know, they're 13 and 11, and if you build a house over 18 months, it's perfect. You're right down the street. I think someone's going to pay $2 million for this piece of land. And it's just a piece of land. And that's what I thought was crazy about this, is that, yes, there's this red brick structure, but this really truly is just a piece of land, because you will see, if you drive by this at some point, you will see this thing knocked down and you go, wow, $2.8 million for a piece of land. And I guess the other catalyst for this blog post was everyone was Facebooking. Oh my God, don't get me started about, like, I have like 1 million real estate Facebook friends. I don't really use Facebook, but for business, yes. And every single one of them puts up the same article about some stupid house in Don Mills that sold for $1 million over list. And it was essentially land value. But first of all, who cares about list price in this market? And second of all, land is expensive. This here on Colin, this was a 40 by 133. And you look at some of these other properties, guys, you know, I mean, what was the most impressive one here? 50 by 147. 50 by 147. So you do have, no one wants to talk about it, a lot of foreign buying. And I guess, you know, the population of China is 1.5 billion. It's pretty dense over there from what I hear. And so you come over here and you look at this for $899, costs you $1.1 million, and it's a 50-foot piece of land. That is a massive, massive piece of land if you're, you know, jammed in a little apartment building in Hong Kong, for example. And it's not just Hong Kong buyers. There's a lot of Middle East money coming over. There's a lot of money from Russia, or the former Russian, can't even keep track, all of the countries that, you know, used to be Russia. But there's a lot of money around the world looking for a place to land. And a lot of it's landing in Toronto. And so we're seeing that with a lot of these properties being bought. And as was the case in Vancouver, A lot of them are sitting empty. A lot of these families are buying it. They're looking for generational wealth. And, you know, I don't know if you're looking out at Bloor and Shaver at a place like Charleston, but I can guarantee you that the foreign buyers are looking at something like this on Collin. I can tell you that they're looking for something like this in Leaside on Hanna. And you know what? A bungalow on Glengarry, if they so chose, this thing, because we looked at the photos, is totally livable. You could buy this and you could rent it out, and you could just ride the long-term appreciation wave. Anyways, guys, that's it for me for this week. I threw a lot of numbers at you, and again, they're kind of all over the place. But I'd rather go off the cuff, you know, than be really prepared. And plus, I have the help of my trusty Casio. Never replaced the battery since I got this in 1994 for my math exam. My teacher was grade 9 math, Mr. Brown. I could tell you my whole timetable. I don't know if that's cool or sad. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. I'm going to go home and crunch some numbers on this thing. It's better than a computer. Any questions, email me, davidfleming@ballsyrealestate.com, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.